read 5 books over the week of April 14th, so let's go over them and my thoughts. If you're wanting to see what I'm reading and rating in real time, you can follow me on Goodreads. I'm also on Instagram and I'm on TikTok for more of the day-to-day stuff, so make sure to follow me in all of those places. Now, if you come to me through my Christian reviews of regular books, make sure to follow the Journey We Share podcast if you're wanting more information on those or to see when the reviews are coming out. They are now officially out. You're getting a ton of them, so definitely make sure to follow and hit the bell and all of those fun things. Now let's go over what I read this last week. The first book that I finished was Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. Now this book I had decided to pick up because I read Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney and I had the best time. And I really wanted to get into more of Alice Feeney because I feel like she really breaks the standard practice I see with a lot of UK authors, which is like everything that can possibly go wrong goes wrong and you're starting at the lowest point and then the character is digging their way out. That is not my favorite cup of tea. I hate starting a book feeling super depressed. And I feel like Alice Feeney, although she does have some of that in there, she does it so well, where you are invested and you don't feel so deep down and depressed that you want to keep reading. I really enjoyed this book. I had a fun time with it. I was engaged and interested the whole time. I wanted to know what happened. There are 3 major twists. I guessed one of them, and one of them ended up being paranormal. So I will definitely be giving more of that in my Christian review videos, so keep an eye out for that review. I rated it 4 stars. Yellowface by R.F. Kuang has been on my list for so incredibly long, and I was so excited to check it out. Now, I picked this up in audio only because I spent my entire the last 2 weeks, reading a physical book only with my eyes, and we'll get there, okay? Because I finally finished it. However, I've been doing a lot of audiobooks in the meantime because I'm only doing physical one book with my eyes. Yellowface was perfect on audio. I think that the narrator did impeccably well with really narrating the internal dialogue that is this main character, and I really love R.F. Kuang's writing. Listen, R.F. Kuang does something with her writing that is next level. What she does is she kind of picks out the super ugly emotions that we have in our humanness, you know, things like greed and contempt and anger, and she really like twists it and makes it up a notch, and she makes you have these main characters that in a way you want to root for because you like to root for main characters, but you don't want to root for them because they're doing things that are like insane. She does it so well, and she did it really well in Yellowface too. Now listen, this female main character is not someone that you really want to love or root for, but watching her process through these really negative emotions and how she did it was fascinating. I think R.F. Kuang can do very little wrong. I am very impressed by both books I've read by her so far and cannot wait to continue the Poppy War trilogy. I rated this book, however, 4.5 stars. I did another audio, which was Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. I am always out looking for clean, contemporary romances, something that's fun and easy, lighthearted. And a lot of times when I'm looking for clean romances and getting recommendations, it's obvious that it's like a historical clean romance, and I want modern day. I want someone like in the here and now. I want someone who understands because they're going through the same thing that I went through, and Summer Romance did just that cleanly. It was so much fun to read. I think that the narrator, again, just killed it. The great narrator on these audiobooks this week, and I had a really fun time listening. I also really loved it because the main female character is going through a divorce, and her experience of the freedom with the difficulty, with the challenges, with all of the balance that comes with divorce and dating again was so reminiscent of my experience of being a single mom and how to date and how to manage the divorce process and how to manage all that conversation. Like all of it just so impeccably well done. I had a great time reading this book and I ended up rating it 4 stars. The reason why all of these other ones were audiobook only this week was because I was physically reading with my eyes Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Now, I talked about this a little bit on my TikTok, and shameless plug, if you don't follow me there, to make sure you follow me there. But oh my gosh, this took me 2 solid weeks. It's bigger than some of my other paperback books in that like size wise, and it's heavy, but the writing's like a normal amount. Also, it's so floppy. I'm sorry, sidetrack. Okay, coming back. Is the writing's normal? You would think that this shouldn't be that hard to read, but there was so much built into each page of this book. There was so much detail you were really trying to capture and understand. The whole world of the Cosmere was so detailed on every single page that I'm telling you, if you tried to skim it or skip past or read faster, you would be so lost. So I had to slow all the way down and just really enjoy it for what it was. On top of that, the audiobook for me was not it. I tried to do an immersive read of this, but the audiobook narrator reads way too slow, okay? Way too slow. And on top of the fact that he reads super, super slow, he also was definitely pausing too long, and I could only speed it up to 3.0. So it wasn't working for me. It's interesting that when I did it in the immersive read, it felt too slow, but then when I tried to read it myself, it still took me forever. Now I will say this, the audiobook is 24 hours long. I know, that's crazy. Regardless of all of that, which is just a personal issue I was having the past 2 weeks, I really enjoyed this book. I love Brandon Sanderson's writing. I think he's one of those that he can describe a world and I am fully engaged. I understand what he's trying to depict, that when I envision a character and I look up fan art, the fan art matches what I envision. That's so hard for me when it comes to fantasy. I feel like I don't understand worlds. I feel like I don't understand visuals. I'm just along for the ride. But this one really helped me understand it. I understood the science behind it, and I am not a science girly, okay? I'm just telling you, this is like very unique for me. And I cannot wait to read more books in this trilogy and ultimately in the Cosmere altogether. I do think that the very beginning of this book through to about 70 or 80% was good, but nothing compared to the ending of this book. The ending of this book was unbelievable. I feel like it just completely took my breath away. I was shocked to the point that I almost wanted to just keep reading no matter what, which is what I did when I read ACOTAR. ACOTAR did that to me every single time, but then I would get kind of like lulled back into complacency. So I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to do that with this book. I am going to take a break like I plan to and go into other books, other types of worlds, other types of things. However, Sanderson definitely knows how to write an ending that will keep you coming back wanting more. He killed it, and I ultimately rated it 3.5 stars. I think there will be more stars in the future of Sanderson and the future of the Mistborn trilogy once we get through all of the world building that I just went through. And then last but not least, my nonfiction read for the week was Now and Not Yet by Ruth Cho Simons. Now, I had this randomly pop up on my library as a book that was available now, and I thought, yeah, I want to check that out. And I'm really glad that I did. It was perfect because this was over Easter week. This was over like a lot of spiritual emphasis. My kids were talking about it a ton. So it was perfect timing to then go into the story of like the now and not yet, the wrestling with what is on this earth versus where we get to be, which is in heaven eventually, right? And how we wrestle with the humanness and the realness and the brokenness of this world when we also are people who desire to be in heaven with Jesus. I feel like it was beautifully done, but it tended to fall a little bit on the repetitive side, and I think it could have been cut down, which is a lot to say considering it was such a short book. I enjoyed my experience and it was beautiful and a perfect story for this past week. I rated it 3.5 stars. So that is everything that I read in the last week. It was a wonderful week and I would love to know what you're reading. Let me know down in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you can be kept up to date with what I'm reading and what's going on here on my channel. And as always, I love you. Bye.